Hi, I'm Limor Schafman here for RCR Wireless, the UTU Connect show, and I'm here with Jennifer Darmour from Artefact. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So you gave a fascinating keynote earlier today, and one of the things you talked about was that this is a $15 billion business. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's a flurry of products that are hitting the market today. Right now we're at about a $750 million market, but it's forecasted that we're going to be around $50 billion in 2016, which is only a few years away.
So this was a 50 billion.
Well, 50 billion, not million, but billion. Yes.
And so it's talking about new products, but also then what needs to happen in order for that to take place. We need infrastructure, we need materials. What are some of the things that need to come into being in order for that to happen?
Absolutely. We need infrastructure, we need materials. We also need to be able to take these products into mainstream and hit the mass markets. We need a really good experience. We need to find that product that really has that value proposition that generates that desire within a mass market. We're not quite there yet. We're testing things out. One example is the Google Glass, which is one of the first early prototypes intended to broaden the space out to a broader consumer market. And on one hand, Google Glass represents that tremendous innovation, not only within the industry with companies and how these things are made, but also with how it's creating this new industry. And then on the other hand, it also represents the vast amount of challenges that we have around getting these things wearable so that your grandmother would want to wear these glasses, and also dealing with privacy and dealing with style and fashion, and getting these products so that they become an expression of you. You want to wear them instead of you have to wear them.
And you were talking also earlier about the user experience of them, because actually the functionality of it was not necessarily ideal. And so it's a combination of the design and the user experience design, as well as the reason to be using them, and does that exist in and of itself? So there seems to be a little bit more that needs to happen there as well.
Absolutely. And again, we're right at the cusp, we're right at the beginning, and that adding that desirability is definitely something that we need. So if you compare wearables today to the evolution of the smartphone, we started out with the brick phone, which was this huge phone. It wasn't very easy to carry around with you. You carry it in a huge suitcase, basically. And we're a little bit past that, but that's where we started with wearables, is really just trying to get the technology to work. So in the medical space, in the military space, we were starting to explore different sensor technologies and getting the stuff to work. And now, if we're starting to think about moving that into the mainstream, we really need to think about style, the overall experience, and how we can add value, how these things can generally improve our lives.
And do you think the public is ready for this?
I think that the public has been wearing wearable technology for hundreds of years. So the first wearable technology device that we've been wearing is a timepiece, a watch. So it's rumored that a lot of the technology, the big players out there are going to come out with some kind of device by next year already. And the rumor is that the watch will be what they're focusing on. And I think that from the perspective of carving out a completely new industry and trying to enter into the mass market, it's a good entry point. It's a good place to start because it's something that people have already worn in the past, although they don't wear watches that much anymore. It's something that people have been used to.
And so at Artefact, describe to us a little bit about what you're doing over there. And I know you're also producing some products, so if you don't mind describing some things for us.
Sure. So I'm a design director at a company called Artefact, which is located in Seattle, Washington. And we create next generation products. So we do the design and also the development. And really it combines hardware, software services, and we're really looking at how we can design these experiences across a whole ecosystem. And then I also, my specialty is in wearable technology, and I run a company called, a wearable studio called Electicfoxy. And with Electicfoxy, what that allows me to do is really push the boundaries of what we can do and how we can integrate this technology more beautifully into our lives. So at Artefact, it's really a partnership between Artefact and Electicfoxy. And at Artefact, we're in the midst of incubating new products. So stay tuned.
Okay, fascinating. So actually, you have a couple of products here with us. Do you mind showing them to us?
At Artefact, we were exploring the intersection between wearable and photography, and what we found is that there's a whole subculture around the form factor of the Polaroid picture. So Polaroid doesn't manufacture those anymore, but there's a whole subculture, and people are so excited about it as a way of expression that they're literally punching a hole and putting a chain around it and wearing it. So we decided to make a product out of that. So this is a wearable camera. It has a display on the front. Can you hear me? Perfect. It has a display on the front, so it allows you to display your photography in a really expressive way. So it really aligns you, or it allows you to communicate what you care about, like your favorite pet, or somebody that you care about, or your favorite team that you're rooting for. You turn it around, and you can. The interaction is a simple tap. So you tap this to take a photograph. So it becomes a point and shoot that's really easily accessible. You don't have to pull your phone out and disrupt your moment. You can capture the image in the moment. It also connects via Bluetooth LE. And it's got a USB connection, which connects to a phone that allows you to manage, document, and share your images. So you can think about wearables in two categories. One is hardware, which is this, so durable goods that are made out of metals, and they're more on the gadget side. And then there's the soft goods. So we've been exploring soft goods as well. This is one of the concepts.
So we have a jacket here that you can see. I don't know if, yes, maybe lifted just a little bit higher so you can actually see it. Oh, fantastic. A full fashion show here. Great.
So
lovely, very nicely tailored and everything, and a very nice material. Excellent. Well, actually, what was the material that you decided to use?
So I was really looking into the manufacturing of this and how we could make this appealing to the mass market. And one thing, while I was creating this, there was a whole trend around sports fabrics and performance fabrics. So that's the kind of fabric that is in here. So it's a very breathable wool blend, and then the interior is literally from the sports industry. So it's a really breathable mesh. So the jacket, generally, with wearables in general, we're not at the soft good stage yet, so I think that we've got a ways to go, but I think that's going to come in the future, where we're able to integrate the hard components, here's my Nike Fuel Band, the hard components of these durable goods into soft goods. So this jacket was exploring that and really investigating how far we can take that. So basically what you can do is there's a pocket in here, you put your phone in it, and the jacket turns, the zipper is used to use as a volume control.
That's great. So you can be walking down the street and just like...
Yes. And like I said, this was an exploration in how to integrate the technology. So the interaction of zipping and unzipping is not for mainstream. But what is really interesting about this is that the pleating here replaces the hard components. So now they're flexible.
And actually, that's where all the electronics are, right?
These are the electronics. So all the stitching and the embroidery pattern is this is the electronics that turns the zipper into the volume control.
So is the stitching actually the wiring?
It's actually the wiring. And it's not just the circuitry that connects the components together. This is the functional component of that replaces that hard component.
And I can tell you it looks really elegant. I don't know how well people are going to be able to see it, but it looks really elegantly done. And from what I understand, this is all washable as well.
It's all washable. And also the other aspect that I was looking at was manufacturability. So when you're integrating these new technologies, it's one thing to create a concept piece and get it to work. That's a big challenge, is to get the experience to work. But it's another challenge to get it to work in a way that you can actually take it to production. And that's something that I focused on with this jacket, is working on the engineering of the patterning, and looking at how the design of the pattern making of the apparel can integrate the technology and be sent to manufacturing. So this one's ready to go.
Fantastic. And then there's also the component of the business model and things like that. And are you going to be able to do everything for a price point that is actually going to be viable for the consumer? So what have you explored and what have you seen in that space?
Yeah, so there's the design of wearables. That's a whole challenge. But then once you create a great experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a good business for the wearable. So you have to consider new business models, especially or get creative with the business, especially when we're carving out completely new categories. That is a challenge that we came across with this wearable camera. Because we were targeting teenagers had limited income, so we were trying to get the product down to under $100, which to do that you have to make compromises on the type of technology and the type of components and how you build this. So with this, at the time that we were trying to take it to market was about a year ago, and at the time we couldn't get all the components down to a price that would get the device under $100.
And probably still keep the same form factor and ease of usability and everything like that.
Yes, and where the biggest cost came was in the display. So we weren't willing to compromise on the design so much where we would give up the display. So I think that we definitely need to be very creative in how we produce these and also how we sell them. So with a product like this, what kind of retail channels do you use? Do you sell it in Best Buy, or do you sell it in a retail chain like Forever 21, where teenagers shop? And Forever 21 doesn't have experience selling electronics like this. So I think that there are a lot of platforms that are coming out there that are allowing us to build these things and get these into the hands of users and prove ourselves out, like Indiegogo that the Misfit Shine got funded through, and Kickstarter that Pebble was funded through. So we need to be creative. The other aspect of the business model is there are products out there that are opening up their platform, opening up their API for developers to add experiences on. So Nike Fuel Band that I'm wearing right now is one of them, Google Glass, Pebble. So that's allowing us to be more creative with our business models as well. So if you don't have the appetite of creating a new hardware device, there are platforms out there that are opening up to create completely new services and businesses from.
So there's a lot of potential here in this marketplace.
Huge. We're just at the cusp. So wheat fields are open. So we have a lot of opportunity, and it's really exciting.
So let's go into the future. Let's put us 20 years from now. What do you see happening in wearable tech? And will it even be called wearable tech at that point, do you think?
Yeah, I think wearable tech is kind of limiting. But I think really where we're heading is a technology paradigm shift. So right now we're in a world where we're essentially interacting with our technology. So we take out our phone, we have to think about it, we interact with it. And what I think wearable technology is offering us is to basically turn that around. So the technology is working for us. It becomes ambient and integrated, and our technology starts to work for us. And a great example to kind of explain that is if you're wearing something, wearing a watch like Fuel Band, it has the potential to be contextual and aware of where I'm at. So imagine I'm walking to the grocery store, and now it can remind me that I need to pick up some milk. So I think that in the future, if we can create these products that truly add value and can work for us. They can become a companion for us, and we can experience our technology in a much less disruptive way. Yeah.
Much more integrated part of our lives.
Much more integrated, and we can truly improve our lives in this way and get back to this kind of a relationship rather than having our phones in between us.
Right. Wonderful. Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everyone, and stay tuned for more.